Game number 2 is starting then, and we are seeing exactly so. This is this kind of map, and it's kind of a fucking funny spawn in here. As at the bottom, this is actually not ideal for what VLNS want, because this is kind of wide open for them, and not really ideal, because they are basically hoping that it's going to be a bit more of a choke point in there between the water and the wood line in here, which is making it kind of easier to wall and defend at the start. Especially it's going to be easier to defend any kind of slinger or such, but that's probably not going to be all that much of a case in here on this funny spawn. And let's see how they can actually cope with that difference in the map, and if ByTs are going to be able to discover or counter their strategy overall. So looking how Rablebok and Sandalen are in here. Sandalen is one of the Vikings, so he's not going to be the one slung. Whereas Mayan in the pocket is Rablebok, and they are hoping that they could be going for the attack on the right side through Kong Forever, who is also the second Mayan, exactly as we have seen. ByTs are Mayans, Hans, Vikings, so they are the standard. And this is going to be really quite tough for him to attack, because they are having a pretty big problem on the left, as they are going to be forced to defend quite heavily in here and invest in a lot of walling to protect the Viking, as the Viking is going to be the one slinging as much as he can. Yeah, right now you can see that there's already a bit of fighting for the sheep. And this is actually a pretty nice decision by Sandalen, because he was seeing that all those sheep are going to be stolen from him, but better than them falling actually into the enemy's hands right under his TC, he's just going to be killing them here. Basically disallowing any kind of food gathering from them, and this is very nice reaction. Better than your opponent getting them, it's better if you kill them all together. And these were, on top of that, actually blues. So that's a bonus on top of that, if you can see right now. The grey player actually gathering all the sheep from the top, and this is, oh well, pretty big problem for blue, but blue is actually making up for it, as he is going to be attempting to steal the board, but Rablebok might be trying to prevent it. Let's see. Oh yeah, he is seeing that the board is being stolen, so he's going to be disrupting it. Let's see if he's going to be effective in this. So far he's doing a pretty good job, as much as he can, but blue is also paying enough attention. And he's almost near the TC, so it should be reasonably in blue's power, which is a pretty big problem. So even though Monaimon has lost a lot of sheep in here, 4 sheep, that's like 400 foot if I remember correctly, he has got a boar back from his opponent, which is like 340 or some such. And he's basically making up for the problem in here and making a bit of a more extra problem for his opponent, who is already quite heavily walling. And this is exactly what we're talking about. And oh my, careful about this guy, he might be caught on the bad side of the wall. That's not ideal at all, because yeah, you can see there's not going to be all that much of a way through, as he's going to be finishing with the wall at the bottom, and he has been paying enough attention, and the wall is right now coming up. Another wall on the right side from Kong Forever is, wow, that's one hell of a wall. That's one hell of a wall, actually, as he is basically walling right next to the town center of his opponent, Cambridge. And Cambridge is going to be having quite an interesting time, because, yeah, right now it's pretty much assured that Kong Forever is going to be the one slung. And with such a huge chunk of his base actually being taken from it, this is very nicely played by VLNS and Kong Forever. And let's see, because if they can pull this off, this is going to be a pretty huge problem for ByT right next to the TC in here. And this is going to make the attack, the slung attack from Kong Forever, all that much more powerful. And they should be super careful about this, because this is, oh well, this is going to be very, very tough indeed for them. You can see that on the water, Cambridge is going for the rock in here, having a village at the bottom, possibly hoping for a bit of shore fishing in here. Green at the bottom, of course, as a Viking, and grey at the bottom as well right now finishing, but that is not a ByT. The blue is at the bottom in here, and he is also, unfortunately for him, but the blue player losing quite a lot of hunt in here for DK. Let's see if he's going to be at least milling it, because that would be kind of a waste, I think. I'm not exactly sure why all those are dead, but I would be expecting that they were killed by the scout cavalry from Sandalen, as he's trying to prevent any kind of efficient build from his opponent. In the meantime, let's have a look somewhere else. For example, in the pocket, we have already seen a bit before that this goal is pretty terrible positioning for Sandalen. You can see Monaimon working on the wall of his own. But so far I'm not exactly sure that they are actually recognizing what's going to happen in here. They are advancing quite fast into the feudal age with 22 and green 20 villages. So they are potentially hoping that there is going to be a bit of water fighting, but there's definitely not going to be anything like that. You can see that Cambridge, yes, oh my. This was a great idea for the orange player, but he actually wasn't careful enough. He actually let one of the villagers through together with the scout that they were trying to prevent the villagers from finishing the wall at the bottom. And this means that, yep, Conk Forever is not going to be having all that easy time going for the slunk attack on the right side. And if Cambridge plays this correctly and puts some extra stone walls about here, he definitely should. Would like at least 2 rows of stone walls in here, basically to make it as difficult as possible for his opponent to breach through the walls. It's still not going to be as easy as it potentially could have been at the very early stage. Yellow is still scouting in here as he's basically trapped this Eagle Warrior, but that's just as well for them, as he's going to be seeing a whole lot of what is going on in the opponent's bases, and potentially is going to be seeing if ByTs are recognizing the strategy and maybe even trying something to counter it. Second dog for blue, third dog for the green player, and this is really basically telling me that ByTs are still not catching up on what is going to happen with the sling in here. And they are going fully for water fighting, but there's not going to be any water fight at all, because you can see there's literally no dog, like literally no dog from either yellow or orange. There is going to be just a dog from Sundown, and he's not going to be fighting for it at all. So blue player doesn't need to really overdo it. He just needs basically those 2 galleys, and that's going to be pretty much it. And let's see if he's going to be catching up on what is happening sooner. Then it would be too late for either of the guys. So let's switch into Conk Forever, because that's going to be the most important player in the next stage, of course. Oh well, almost dead villager, of course. That's going to be easy target for another Billy at full health. And it seems like that the micro is so far working quite nicely. Oh, he has actually built himself a wall in here. Oh well. And of course, Red is going to be trying to wall it around it. A bit of a wall in fight in here. And right now he's going to be trying to push through the wall, but it's going to take him quite some time. But of course he's not going to be mining all that much, as it means that this villager is going to be surviving. And that's of course exactly what he wanted at this stage. Well, green going with a lot of galleys at the top. Overdoing it a bit. On the left side, yeah, I can guess that actually blue is going to be recognizing quite soon that there's not going to be any fight for the water, and he really should be switching his mindset into something else. And we see the advances into feudal from Conk Forever and Sandalen, and Cambridge is going to be in there as well. And I'm going to be interested in seeing if ByTs basically just jump into castle or not, or what's going to happen in here from them. Rubber block clicking into castle age quite soon, as market is being built by the hunt player at the bottom. There's also going to be a bit of fighting with the villager and to kill the one remaining in here, and this is exactly what he needs to do, because he wants basically to prevent any kind of villages from being set up in here, from building the castles and such, and that is exactly very nicely played, and yeah, exactly what he needs to do right about now. The red player going to be jumping to castle from the hunts, but Trouble Block is of course going to be quite a lot faster. And we are, of course, Sundown is still in the Dark Age though, as he's going to be feudal just now. But that's going to be the time when he's going to be starting the sling. So far he's having 27 villages, which is the least of all, with 4 fishing boats, which are not going to be present for much longer, whereas their opponents are having 31, 31, 29. So the economies are still kinda equal. But, yeah, just as he advances into the next age, drops the market, we are going to be seeing the switch into the sling, and that's where the difference is going to be starting. Let's just check if maybe ByTs are going to be starting the sling as well. So far not. Stone mining, gold mining from Conk Forever. That's almost looking like that he might be attempting to sling as well, as he's going for a lot of economy upgrades right now. Some cartography for Poxo and such, and Castle Age from Conk Forever. Okay, so no sling from him. And they are seeming like they will be wanting to actually just be better than their opponents, even without any kind of slings. So let's see. Second row of walls. There's going to be a stone wall from Sandalian as well. I would be expecting some second or even third row from him very soon, basically to make it as tough for Monaimon to advance on his side of the map as possible. But I'm really expecting that since he's going to be owning the water and Monaimon is a skilled player, that he's going to be using transport ships to basically transport around it behind his opponent's base, and that's going to be a pretty nasty surprise and definitely something that Grey will be very unhappy about in quite soonish stage of the game. So we see exactly what we expecting, as Red is right about now trying to finish with a stone wall to prevent an easy advance from Conquer Forever, and Sandalian is already paying a sling, a tribute into Conquer Forever, and yeah, we are going to be seeing the Mayan shenanigans very soon. Pretty good economy so far for Rabblebok in the pocket. Seems to be aiming for second TC, third TC as well. So he is probably going to be just playing his own, exactly as we have seen against Vic from VLNS, and since the walls are going to be breached pretty soon, his house is going to be just a matter of time before it is down. As you can see, 5 attack from the villager against the building. Yep, there's going to be a way through, and potential for even more defenses for Cambridge to make it difficult for Conquer Forever to push through. Even with all the castle dropping in here, that is definitely going to follow very soon. Checking on the left side if we are seeing anything interesting. Not all that much, just Monaimon working on the walls as well. So far I'm not exactly sure what ByT's plan is going to be. Monaimon also advancing into castle, so all 3 ByTs in castle, which is telling us that they are not slinging. They actually are, that's interesting. Boxer right now into Monaimon, which definitely makes sense, basically the same sling from Viking into Mayan, as we are seeing on the other side, and I'm kinda expecting that this should be a lot stronger from ByTs than from their opponents. You can see that this walling is going to be very important, as the second row of walls is going to be making quite tough for Conquer Forever to surprise his opponent sooner than he would be ready for it. Alright, second TC, third TC ready, so 3 TCs ready. In interesting spots. This was basically just because of the hand, so that he has a bit better economy, and there is still a lot of fishes to be gathered for them. So something that they could take advantage of, and they definitely are, and should be helping them quite a lot. Especially on the left side, we see a lot of fishes for the blue player to take advantage of. In the meantime, Green is basically just trying to protect the coastline, and since he can spare all the population limit just about now, why not? It is definitely worth it. Imperial Age in the meantime coming for Conquer Forever, so the time is kinda closing for ByTs to basically catch up with this on the left side with Monaimon. But since Monaimon is investing a lot in his economy and dropping a castle as well, he is going to be attempting an attack very soon as well, and hoping that he can be strong enough. Rabblebok is going to be defending the pocket, or rather the slinging player on the left, as you can see, through just his gameplay, and he should be pretty much fine. He's having so far 3 TCs in a pretty good position and is slinging quite nicely, having the most villages, actually 53 right about now. And even though that was a bit of a gem from this villager, it should be a pretty decent opportunity for him to slang, or rather to stop even the slang blue player Monaimon. Let's see if that's really going to be enough, or if, with the Imperial Age coming in, or if Conquer Forever is going to be faster than his blue counterpart. Yet another row of falls. Nicely played, but he really needs to hurry up as the situation is getting dire, with them already pushing through the first line of walls in here. And with the Plumed Archers coming in pretty big numbers, and we could be expecting those fillies building another castle about here. Oh well, really, time is running out quite strong and quite fast, and let's see if the if the Mangala is going to be enough. It definitely could be. Yeah, this castle is not going to be built at all. And with the Mango that'll be a pretty big problem, because there's not much that so far the orange player can be doing. This is almost looking like the second castle is going to be forced into this position, as of course he's not going to be building anywhere in here, as he didn't expect the extra walls. Cambridge is still working on extra lines in here, and he's really fortifying as much as he can, and going to be hoping that he can survive into Imperial Age himself, and then somehow also hoping that Monaimon is going to be the one that is going to be stronger in pushing through the opponent's lines on the left side. It's not going to be easy, of course, with the double layer of palisades and of the stone walls, but looking at some petards that could be coming out from the Mayans castle, it's probably not going to be all that much of a problem. And yeah, we could be expecting also the Rams to come here from the blue player quite soon. And with the forging coming in, we are going to be actually seeing Eagle Warriors, it seems. Another castle. Huh, that's kind of curious, not really sure. But he's probably hoping, or rather thinking, that better be ready than surprised by anything else. And well, let's see if that's going to be helping him all that much. Or if still ByTs or rather VLNS are going to be strong enough to defend. So far though, very nice defense from ByT, and this is a pretty big problem for VLNS, because right about now they will be hoping that they are already through the walls, attacking their opponent inside his base, but it's so far not happening, and this is quite a big delay, and basically diluting the effect of the sling, as it is giving extra time to Cambridge to advance into Imperial Age, which he already is. Rabblebok is advancing as well. And yeah, he's going to be having all kinds of easier job in the Imperial Age with the Cavaliers, as he's Han. Yeah, it should be pretty easy for him to defend once he advances in there. Oh yeah, building all those walls in here. Could be expecting yet another row of walls quite soon. This is quite aesthetic wall. And since he has broken through the walls in here, it's going to be very easy for him to do basically anything that he wants. And he could be expecting, yep, yet another row of walls. And this is so nicely played. So very nicely played. And this is going to be a bit of a problem, because right now they are in range of both the castle and the bloom touches. So goodbye all those builders in here. And that's potentially a bit of a problem for the red player, but not really all that much, as of course the Imperial is already in. And we are seeing that on the left, Monaimon is already working his way through. He has already actually gone through, and I think that was through transport ship somewhere. Oh, of course, at the top. And he has actually built already a forward base inside the Grace base, and this is exactly what I was talking about a bit earlier. And the reason for the forging, and that's why I didn't see barracks, because they were built behind enemy lines, and this is a huge surprise and something that VLNS did not expect at all. And ByTs are playing this so nicely indeed. You can see that the Rabblebok is trying to switch into barracks as well, but since he's not going to be finishing with the second castle and is already under pretty heavy attack of Slung Mayan, as Monaimon is slung by Boxo in the pocket in here. Oh well, this is a big problem for VLNS, as if Conquerors cannot push through the right side fast enough, which it seems like that he cannot, as he's just now getting through all of this. Oh well, not good time for them, not good time for them at all, and this is not looking nice at all for the VLNS team. I'm just looking where all those bloom touches are. Maybe they died to the mangonels, I'm not exactly sure, but in the end I don't really see them anywhere. So let's see somewhere else. As you can see, quite nice guard, or rather coast guard from Poxol, basically to make sure that they are not landed exactly like they have landed their opponents in here. And since the slinging player Sandalen is going to be basically killed, he's dropped to just 44 willies, which is still enough, but since they are not going to be effective for much longer, as they are under pretty heavy attack in here, and Rabblebok is having all kinds of troubles defending against this. This is looking like that Sandalen is not going to be able to sling into his ally on the right, which is going to be given all the extra time that Cambridge needs to advance, or rather to get kept ramps, as he is going for them, the Cavaliers, the Paladins and such, and then be a proper counter to the Slunk Mayan. And you can see that the Mayan from the right side, Forever, is moving to the left side, and this is interesting and quite surprising, to be honest, because of course he's going to be fighting the correct counter unit in the Eagle Warriors, and we see even two-handed swordsman, and that's a unit that you don't really see all that often. And you can kind of see why, because they're even having problems catching up with the Eagle Warriors, and with their very slow attack they are not going to be all that effective. And I'm pretty sure that Monaimon is going to be able to spam them quite a lot faster than the yellow player will be able to do with this swordsman in here, even with the support of all those bloom touches. Yeah, I can see that Gray is just trying to find any kind of resource that he can be gathering from. But of course, this is going to be pretty tough for him to defend, as he's going to be forced to defend on the right side very soon as well, even though he's having a second flank with some trebuchets in here, as we are already having the Cavaliers and Paladins are going to be coming in from Cambridge, as he's quite probably being slung as well, I would be expected, from Poxo. Just a bit, but I think it was this sling for the Paladins in here, and well, with Paladins coming up in strength, there's not much that the orange player will be able to do on the right side, as he's absolutely not prepared with any kind of barracks in here. And that's going to be a pretty strong attack by the red player very soon. It seems like that he's going to be even able to push through the right side, or rather go through in there. Not exactly sure, but let's have a look at the main battlefield, where the blue player Monaimon is doing a pretty good job of dealing with the army from both Conquer Forever and Rebel Block. He's basically successfully pushed through, as he's also mixing a few bloom touches in there, still not really fully upgraded, not any kind of armor from them, not full attack either. But really, with the defense of just the two-handed swordsman from Rebel Block, this is not really enough, and what's going to be the true answer from the yellow? So far I don't see any kind of answer from him really. The only answer from VLNS is all those bloom touches from Conquer Forever, who has also yet again switched from the right side to the left. And it seems like that basically Monaimon's job is going to be to stall as much as possible, building the castles, basically protecting the extra resources and keeping all the army from the orange player engaged in here, and that's pretty much going to be it for him. Basically to allow, with extra trebuchets, basically trying to really keep the battles on the right side, to allow his ally on the right side with the Paladins, and of course some extra siege coming up from him to go into full-on offensive and basically get rid of this forward base. And once that happens, with the multitude of houses in here, well, he could be kinda guessing where this is going to go. Well, that was a nice idea, but you have seen that he has actually beached somehow the transport ship, and well, yeah, he will have to try something else. He will have to rebuild a bit more with one extra, and then basically try to land somewhere behind the lines, about here potentially, and get to the back and get rid of absolutely everything in there very soon. So bloom touches are doing a pretty good job, basically because they are in high numbers, but the castle from the yellow player has been killed, and that's a pretty big problem for him, because he is having none else. He's not even having all that much room, as he's building one at the top, which also means that he's basically out of any kind of army, meaning that Conquer Forever is right now fighting on both sides. So far he's fighting just on the left, as on the right he was having just a few siege weapons, and since that is not true anymore, as Blast Furnace is coming from Cambridge into full upgrades basically, yeah, just going to be quite soon in there. With the very nicely played transport ship yet again, he is going to be absolutely wrecking anything that is in here. And yep, just waiting for the extra siege to come in, with the siege ramps already trying to be getting rid of all the castles from the orange player. And even though he is trying to build all the army that he can on the right side, this is not going to be successful, as he doesn't have anything against Paladins. Bloom touches versus Paladins, that's not a good idea at all. And you can see that he's absolutely wrecking all the bases in here. And well, with the army being quite dead on the left side as well for VLNS, even just the bloom archers are in here being engaged by all the rams and all the bloom archers from the blue player. We are seeing the GGs, and not even the two-handed swordsmen were strong enough to get rid of the eagle warriors, as the combo from blue player was quite strong. So nice recognition of what to do from ByT, as they recognize that VLNS are going to be slinging onto Mayan on the right side, and absolutely glorious walling, basically stopping the sling in its tracks and allowing to switch for Poxo to sling into Monaimon, and very sneaky build on the left side with Landin, and that is exactly what won the game, because he has killed the slinging player just right there, or disrupted his slinging game, and was able to keep a Rebel Block in check, and also of course force Conquer Forever to retreat from the right side and help on the left. Nicely played, and ByTs are winning the match 2-0. MVP being Monaimon. even though he was slung, I think that Cambridge was slightly better in there. You can see that he was having also higher score, as he basically single-handedly prevented the slung player, Kong Forever, from stopping him, and he was doing a pretty good job with the wallet in there. Really, nicely played, and VLNS faced an opponent that knew how to counterplay the strategy that they were having prepared. Even though it was a very nice strategy, in the end, it wasn't strong enough. A lot of slinging, of course, going on from both sides. Well then, GG.